Hello, I have some news for you. I'm asexual. So, what asexual means to me is that I have literally no sexual attraction towards anyone. Finding out that I'm asexual, I've known since I was 21. I found out asexuality through Tumblr all those years ago when Tumblr was actually a pretty good site before they started doing weird things with it. I found out through it because it came up on my feed and they were just talking about the LGBTQ and what the A stands for, what the I stands for, what the Q stands for, and all that stuff. And I saw it a lot and I was just like, well, what's asexuality? I don't know. I've never heard of it and I don't know what that is. So I started doing research with it. I would Google it. I would look up on the asexual tags and everything made sense for me. What asexuality is basically people that don't have sexual attraction towards people. And then there's aromanticism, which is they don't have any romantic attraction towards people. So it meant a lot to me finding out who I was and that I wasn't just a weirdo that just was not interested in sex. At the time when I found out, I was in a 6-year relationship. We were together from my sophomore year of high school all the way to 3 years after graduation, on and off a lot. The reason why it was on and off a lot was because my boyfriend at the time cheated on me a lot, almost the entire time. That is Jack. It's okay. He thinks someone's knocking at the door. He cheated on me a lot because I would not have sex with him. I did not want to. I was not ready to, especially with him. So he had cheated on me for 6 years. It did not help that he was in the military. Yeah, it did not work out. But I was with him when I found out about asexuality. So when I had talked to him about it, I was like, hey, I think I might be asexual because this kind of makes sense to me. And he was actually for it at the time. He was like, hey, that does make sense to you. He didn't understand it still, but he was happy that I found out something new about myself. When I had talked to my best friend about it, she actually told me in her word, yes, I was hoping one day you'll find out. I wanted you to find out on your own, in your own terms. And it's been so long that I wanted to tell you that you're weird, but you're not weird. And ever since she said that, that has always been my go-to when it comes to asexuality because, I mean, it's true. You're weird, but it's not a bad weird. To me, it's a good weird. I think of it as a perk for me because if you date me, I won't cheat on you. When I came out to my family, my brothers, my sister, and my cousins, like, they were all for it. It made sense. When it came to my parents, my dad, he didn't know what it was. I was at dinner with my brothers and my stepsisters at the Cheesecake Factory when I told him. And when I told him about it, he was just like, well, what's that? And I told him, well, in plainest terms, I don't care for sex and I don't want it, like, at all. And me being his only daughter, I expected a reaction being like, oh, good, well, then I don't have to worry about you sleeping around or something. My dad is one of those dads that, no, you cannot date. No, you cannot do this. You cannot go out and be a woman. No. So when I told him that, I expected a reaction like, okay, good, that's fine. But instead, he did kind of the exact opposite, which was weird. He told me that that I am young, that it's okay, that I'll find someone. Okay. Didn't even try to explain it. It's whatever. It's like, they know. It's fine. I told them. When I told my mom about it, she said, does that mean I'm not going to have any grandkids? That's not what that means either. I could have kids, probably. I haven't tried because I don't want kids. That doesn't mean that I am unable to have kids. I think the only thing that concerned her about that was because my brother, her oldest son, is gay, and me, as well as not wanting to have kids, her only option into having grandchildren is my little sister. And her being 13 years old, I have talked to her about sexuality and stuff because I remember being 13 and in middle school and very confused about sexualities and stuff. She's pretty level-headed when it comes to that because she is my sister and my mom's never gonna talk to her about that stuff. She is also on the spectrum of asexuality. When I told her about asexuality, to her it made sense. And to see that in her, like just her eyes, just like, and it made me feel better because she's 13 and she gets to know this about herself at 13. I had to find out at 21 on my own. The fact that I could help out my little sister find out who she is at such a young age makes me feel better. So she didn't necessarily come out to me because we were already discussing it. She more like came to the conclusion that she was aromantic, asexual. And I even told her that it's okay. Later on, you can change it. It's fine. It's okay if that label does not fit you anymore. It fits her right now, and that's completely okay. When it comes to asexuality, I try to inform my coworkers, my family, even try to discuss it when I go out on dates with people, because I like to first confirm with the person that I am about to go on a date with that I am asexual. And the fact that more likely this date is not going to end with you at my house or me at your house, or that this whole thing is just a hookup and that I am actually looking for a companion. It hasn't been successful because it's been online dating, and a lot of online dating is all about hookups, and it's very hard for a person like me to do that. I have come to the terms of just staying away from online dating until there is an asexual dating app, and to just wait it out in person and see what happens. So that is mostly my story of how I found out who I was and how I came out. It has not been very successful in my dating life. There was even a time where someone who I was dating even tried to fix me. I told them about me, who I am. He even said to his words like, okay, yeah, that's fine, because sex is not about a relationship. It's a plus, but it's not a whole relationship. And that drew me in even more to him, because I was like, oh, okay, so he understands that it's not a whole basics of a relationship. You can have a companionship. That's great. He understands that. Turns out, no. So that didn't work out well. So there was a miscommunication. When I came when it came down to a certain act, now when it came down to a certain night, when it came down to a certain night in November, he was at the bar near my house, and even said that he wanted to come over so he can sober up. let him in so he could sober up. We were I'm just gonna leave it as that because I don't think I'm ready to discuss it even more now. But I basically victim blamed myself because I thought just because I let him in and that what was I expecting? I covered it up a lot with telling my friends saying that I was ready when I wasn't. Just so people wouldn't demonize him when I should have let them because he wasn't a good person. I was blinded by him because he would say the right things. He would say the right things to me and gaslight me and everything. And I believed to be my fault the whole time. And it wasn't towards the end when I was discussing it with a mutual friend of ours that she said that there was no consent, that you guys had that there was no consent. You guys had ground rules of how far to go, and he exceeded that ground rule. That you laid it down, and he didn't listen. And I just started crying because I mean I knew it at the time, but I was also being like, well, it's my fault that this happened. So with me blaming myself for it, she was there to tell me that it's not my fault, that he didn't listen. To this day, it has taken me a very long time to accept the fact that it's not my fault. With it being 2019 and new decade coming, and with that anniversary of when it happened, I came to myself saying that I am going to heal myself from this, that I am not going to let it get to me, and I'm not going to be angry about it, and I am going to move on from it. And I'm going to come out of this as a stronger woman than I was before. So with the new year coming, me just doing the previous video about environmental friendly stuff, that is also my New Year's resolution, is to come out. It's more like my new decade resolution is to come out of this as a stronger person and to not let it get to me. For anyone that's watching this, I want to thank you for watching it and taking the time to actually watch it because it means a lot to me. This is actually the first time where I'm actually like being vulnerable in front of my phone and gonna post it. So this is gonna be a strong moment for me until I press that upload button. So, thank you for watching, and I hope you watch more.